Drive, presented by Hardees, weekdays at 5 p.m. on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. Cleveland and Bradley County's local sports show, weekdays at 5 on ESPN Cleveland 101.3.
From the Kia of Cleveland Studios, this is ESPN Cleveland 101.3, WCLE HD2 Cleveland, W267BI Cleveland, ESPN Cleveland 101.3.
The top of the hour is presented by Best Buy Metals, making the top of your house the best it can be. Visit bestbuymetalroofing.com.
It's time for The Drive on ESPN Cleveland 101.3, presented by Hardees. We will bring you nonstop sports news from the national and local scene and everything in between. So buckle up and join in on the conversation. It's The Drive.
Welcome, friends, to The Drive. I'm Jacob Mason, shortly to be joined by my good buddy, Andy Morris. We are here for today's coverage of all things sports. Super excited to get into it. A lot of really good things going on around our area. You know, baseball is in session. The Walker Valley girls are up in Murfreesboro, I believe, and playing Ravenwood currently. We're trying to work on a score. So, hey, if you know a score, shoot either me or Andy a text, or shoot the Volunteer Ridipest line a text and let us know. We're trying to figure out. It was tied 6-6 at halftime, but a lot of good things going on today, Coach. Excited to have you with me.
Yeah, listen, it is a wild day here at the station. A lot going on. But listen, you're exactly right. You're talking about all the high school baseball that's going to be coming up, getting started tonight. Also, as you mentioned, the Walker Valley girls flag football currently playing in the state semifinal game. We're going to cover all of that. Got some soccer, a lot of local stuff going on today on The Drive. Once again, for Jacob Mason, I'm Andy Morris. Excited to have you with us. And I believe, are we streaming, Riley? We're rolling, so we are streaming on ESPN Cleveland 101.3, also on mixtv.tv and Facebook. Excited to be streaming with everybody today. A new element that we're excited to reach more listeners and viewers. So, Jacob, it looks like you're making a face.
Yeah, Walker Valley lost by 1 point in the semifinals.
Oh, man. So, that game, we're going to go ahead and jump straight into that. So, just to kind of give you a rundown of what's been going on with the Walker Valley girls flag football, unbelievable run, 17-0 going into the state tournament, I believe. And it was a huge day one for them yesterday at the state tournament, going 3-0, winning their pool. In game one, they defeated Hillsboro by a score of 20-0. In game two of their pool, they defeated Azell Harding 33-13. And then in their final game, game three yesterday of pool play, they beat Jackson Northside 33-14. So that wrapped up the action for yesterday. A very successful first day. What that did, winning their pool, got them one of the top 4 seeds. So each pool winner of the 4 pools were basically, if you think bracket, think NCAA basketball bracket. You've got 4 1 seeds. So the winners of those pools were all 1 seeds. And again, another solid day today in round 1. Walker Valley defeated Creekwood 19-18. And that game came down to an interception on an extra point. So in girls flag football, they don't kick. The extra point, you have to throw a pass or run the ball and score. And Walker Valley got an interception to win that game to advance to the state quarterfinals. In the state quarterfinals, Walker Valley beat Liberty Creek in overtime. So some stressful, crazy games really today. And the final score in overtime, 13-12, Walker Valley over Liberty Creek, advancing them to the state semifinals, where we just got news. Walker Valley and Ravenwood in the state semifinals, which started, I believe, at 3 Central, 4 our time. That game just went final, and Jacob, you said that it was a 1-point loss.
Yeah, that's the text I got anyway.
Okay.
So that, no official scores or anything like that to come, but got a text that they lost by 1 point. And
but listen, year one, state semifinals, what a run.
Yeah, and, Ravenwood is up there in the Brentwood area. It's a really big school. They have a big tradition of being good at really all sports.
Yes, they do.
You around the horn, they're good at just about everything. So at this point, I guess I'm rooting for Ravenwood to go win the whole thing. But great job of those girls going up there in year one, making a splash and
playing a lot of games in a 2-day period.
That's crazy. And really to think about like their in-season schedule too, they play 3 games in one night. So like it's a lot. There's a lot of things that go on, but proud of those girls for representing our county well.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I know Coach Pope is extremely proud of these young ladies. And one of the good things, Riley, who's our board op today, Miss Riley Harden, let's give her a hand. Listen, she pointed out Walker Valley graduation tonight, which, by the way, big-time breaking news. Walker Valley graduation has been moved to First Baptist Church. If you were unaware of that, it will be at First Baptist of Cleveland. And so the good news for those senior girls on the flag football team, they're putting their makeup on in the car right now, headed back. I hope they're streaming ESPN Cleveland 101.3, but they're getting ready to go graduate. So extremely proud of those young ladies.
Yeah, absolutely.
Going to be able to make their graduation.
For sure. Yeah, that's exciting. If the good thing that comes out of it is, they got to have a memorable experience and then they get to get home and make it for graduation.
Yeah, and talking about graduation, that's something that Jacob and I were both lucky to be able to do at some point in our life. It didn't look good for either one of us, really.
Yeah, I had to bribe Autumn O'Brien just to get a diploma. So, it's an exciting night for sure and a big moment in their life. So good for them to, go out there and compete, lay everything out in the field, and then still get to enjoy that as well.
So since we're talking graduation, we're going to go ahead and dive into high school baseball. A lot has happened over the course of the past week in high school baseball. The weather was a huge factor, specifically this week in the district tournaments leading up to the region tournament this week. And Cleveland defeated Walker Valley 7-1 to claim the district championship in District 6 4A, and that's back-to-back championships for the Blue Raiders. So congratulations to them. You and I, Jacob, had a chance to call that district championship game over at Cleveland, and Tyler Gardner was phenomenal on the mound for the Blue Raiders. So excited to see the way their season progresses here in the region tournament. Bradley also, they're the District 5 4A champions for the third year in a row. They defeated Ottawa on Monday night 5-4. So this is where we're at. A lot of stuff going on this week with graduations for all 3 high schools. So I'm going to try to be descriptive and as clear as possible when I say this. So the region baseball tournament, all games are going to be at Cleveland High School, at Bill Talley Stadium, Cleveland High School. And it doesn't matter if Cleveland's not playing. Every single region game will be at Cleveland High School. And they'll be played in order to accommodate all local high school graduations. And this is a unique scenario. I've been able to talk with the athletic directors here in town, and it's something that they wanted to make sure was worked out for everybody. They weren't trying to put anyone at a disadvantage. So tonight is game 1 during Walker Valley's graduation, which is taking place tonight, once again, at First Baptist Church. There are no Mustangs on the diamond tonight. They're able to protect the seniors in their graduation. So tonight, the only game is Cleveland versus Ottawa at 6 p.m. So about the time we're wrapping up the show, Cleveland versus Ottawa, 6 p.m. Tomorrow, Friday night, Bradley Central faces Walker Valley at 3 p.m. Now, the reason that game is earlier at 3 p.m. is because tomorrow Cleveland High School is having their graduation. So they're trying to stagger, get that game in at 3 o'clock to where they're able to have graduation that evening. So, again, Friday night, Bradley Central versus Walker Valley at 3 p.m. Actually, I should say Friday midday, not Friday night. Then Saturday, that's Bradley's graduation. There are no games on Saturday. And so after those first-round games, this is how this works. The winner of the first-round games, the winner of Cleveland versus Ottawa, and the winner of Bradley versus Walker Valley, those winners advance to the region championship game. Excuse me. They advance to the region championship game. That will take place on Sunday at noon. So the region championship game will be Sunday at noon. Now, the winner of the region championship game gets the trophy, and they're done playing baseball. The loser of the region championship game still has to play. So that doesn't assure you a second place. So when the winner of the first round games are playing in that region championship at noon Sunday at Cleveland, the loser of that game will automatically go to game 3 on Sunday. We're going to come back to that. Game 2 on Sunday is at 3:30. That's the losers of game 1. So whoever loses between Cleveland and Ooltewah tonight, and whoever loses between Bradley and Walker Valley tomorrow night, they will play game 2 after the region championship. They'll play game 2 at 3:30 on Sunday to see who is still alive to play for the true second. That's where game 3 on Sunday will be the region runner-up game. So they play for a true second, basically. And so getting that region championship game does not assure you second place. You still got to come back and win a game since it's not a true series.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Let me catch my breath, Jacob.
Yeah, it's a little confusing, but it all makes sense. And a lot of these teams have shared the bracket, and once you see the bracket, it's a little bit easier. Maybe we can get a generic bracket that doesn't have some of these teams like logos and stuff on it, and we'll share it that way. Our listeners can understand what's going on. But if you're not doing anything Saturday and you're bored, middle school is holding its sectional at Lee University. Unfortunately, for the first time since middle school state tournament has started, a team from this area is not represented. Either us.
Then we ain't showing up, Mason. Come on, dude. Come on, dude.
But there's some really good baseball. A lot of teams from Johnson City coming down. Loftus right out there at Saudi Daisy.
Hey, we got some Saudi peeps. Some of our neighbors coming in.
And then Signal Mountain.
Okay.
So when I say this area, I mean, it's the first time that Ocoee, Cleveland, or Lake Forest hasn't been represented in that portion. But a lot of middle schoolers are now throwing like 80 miles an hour. So it's not too far.
Isn't that wild?
It's not too far off of some really good baseball. And if you're just bored Saturday and you need something to go do, Lee University is a beautiful campus, and there's a lot of good baseball going on. It'll be kind of similar. There's going to be probably 3 or 4 games that day. So I will be PAing it, and I'll get to watch some good baseball.
There you go. Hey, listen, so as we're covering high school sports, might as well go on over to high school softball, right?
Yeah.
Again, a lot going on here. Over the past 2 weeks, really, Walker Valley, the feisty Phillies defeated Cleveland 5-2 Tuesday night to claim the District 5 4A championship. The next game there will be Monday, May 12th, versus the District 6 runner-up, which is Ooltewah. So that will be Walker Valley and Ooltewah at 5:30 on Monday, and that game will take place at Walker Valley High School for the I believe that is the first round of their region tournament. Then the Cleveland Lady Raiders will play on the road at East Hamilton, which East Hamilton won that district with Ooltewah being the runners-up. And so, once again, Cleveland at East Hamilton on Monday at 6 p.m. So you'll be able to catch the first round of the region tournament for your local softball teams as well. Going over, just to recap, the Barretts season, Bradley Central Barretts beat Howard 12-2 Tuesday night to advance to their district tournament. Then they played Ooltewah last night in hopes of gaining a spot in the district championship game. Unfortunately, they dropped that game against the Lady Owls by a score of 4-0, and that ended their season. So, again, listen, we've been giving applause around here. Coach Caden Ricketts, the head softball coach at Bradley, deserves a big applause because they had a very successful season, very competitive this year, and I know he's very proud of his team.
Yeah, year one, correct? Mm-hmm. So to come in and to fight the way they did, I'm sure Bradley's very proud, and it shows a lot of growth. I'm excited for Caden, good friend of ours, and wish him nothing but well. And so gearing up for next year, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, high school soccer, Tuesday night, Walker Valley defeated McMinn County in the district semifinals by a score of 3-1, and Cleveland soccer also advanced to the district championship after a dramatic win over Ray County. That came down to the 12th round of PKs. That is insane. We talked about it a little bit yesterday.
Yeah, I just imagine like the anxiety after especially how parents, especially like high school,
they make it a big deal.
Like I bet you that place excuse me, erupted.
That's a lot of pressure on a 15, 16, 17-year-old.
Yeah, I know. And once you get into 12 too, you're probably getting down into those sophomores, freshmen type people
pulling the water boy out to take some kicks, right? And
so for them, that's probably really, really exciting, and it's such a good moment. Like I've been talking to some high school kids about since they've started the middle school state tournament, like they don't feel as much pressure because they've been there. And so when you have that experience, like as a sophomore or freshman, it's invaluable, because the next time you're there, your heart slows down a little bit. It's not as rushing as.
And listen, I can speak to that as a wrestling coach. When you take some of these kids, even during the off season, high school kids in the off season, to some of these bigger tournaments across the state, across the country, and then they show up to their state tournament the next year, they're like, "This isn't that big of a deal." Like I've wrestled in the national tournament before, so there's something to be said for just being able to visually be somewhere and see what it's like in a big time setting, in an important high pressure, high stakes setting, as you said. So yeah, that's definitely, hey, that's what's coming up for the district championship game in soccer. Cleveland at Walker Valley. That game's going to be Friday at noon. That's a noon game, so I already know there's kids at Walker Valley that are buying tickets to get out of class to go support the soccer team. That's going to be pretty stinking cool.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. I would love for there to be some like baseball games and stuff like that. Like especially with us having Lee's Field, I've always wanted us to have like a student body game where it starts at like 2:30. If you can get a Lake Forest or somebody to come over, how cool would it be to have the stands filled with your peers? And in the same way, like you're going to have that at the high school at noon, like buy a ticket and go.
Yeah, listen, so speaking of that, I'm a little bit older than Jacob. We're not going to disclose how much, just a little bit. But back in my day at Bradley Junior High School, when it came to student body events, they were a lot more common back then. Obviously, now we don't want to take away from the classroom time. Listen, I'm saying that with a straight face. We're all about those academics. You know what I'm saying? But seriously, back then at Bradley Junior, we would have obviously wrestling student body matches, and it would be Bradley Junior versus Truett for a student body match, and it was for those of you that don't know, Bradley Junior now Ocoee, Truett now Lake Forest Middle School. But those matches, and each school would get to host one. So Bradley Junior hosted one, and Truett hosted one. Those wrestling matches were absolutely electric, and that was like the one time of the season where it was like okay to slam somebody because you were trying to put on for your student body and your coach wouldn't get too mad at you because he understood. But we also did it in football. So Charleston came down to Bradley Junior and we played a student body football game. And I can remember being like an 80-pound seventh grader, like trotting out there with the eighth grade thinking I was, part of something big. And it was a lot of fun.
Well,
like, it was cool.
Think about it from a fundraising perspective. Like, you could sell a lot of tickets.
And that is one reason it was done, and it was a huge fundraiser for the teams.
I mean, hey, I know some ADs out there.
Hold on now, Jacob. We don't want to take away from the classroom time.
Hey, I get it, but
don't make me come over there.
I'll, as an educator, I will shake my head and agree. I agree.
Listen, every once in a while we can have a little fun too, though. So
yeah.
But those are some good memories, and I hope that we've got some listeners here that remember those days. That I'm not the only old guy sitting here talking about it.
Well, currently you are the only old guy sitting here.
That's why I said it. Anyway, we're going to change the subject from my age as we continue to cover high school sports. Obviously, a lot going on here in the area. We've covered baseball. We've covered softball. We've covered soccer. Well, today the Walker Valley girls tennis team won their district as well, and so congratulations to them. That was we've also covered girls flag football. Walker Valley getting to the semifinals. That's a huge deal for them. So congratulations to both of those teams. And let's break away from the high school sports for just a minute. And one thing that I've always enjoyed, and speaking of those student body events and matches and games and stuff, one thing that was always really cool was like the music that was pumping in the arena, in the gym.
I already know where you're going
out at the stadium. Did you see what took place last night in Virginia?
Yeah. Dude.
Oh my goodness. So listen, this is what went down. Lane Stadium, the home stadium for the Virginia Tech Hokies, hosted Metallica last night. And the videos on social media are phenomenal. There are people like a mile away from the stadium that videoed it, and the lights and the timing of the music, and you could hear the music like a mile away. How awesome it was. And, of course, those of you that don't know, Virginia Tech, the football team, runs out to Metallica's Enter Sandman. and it's such an electric entrance. The first time I ever saw it, I believe it was in 2002, and Virginia Tech was playing Miami in like a Thursday night, like primetime game back when the ACC monopolized Thursday night football. And that energy in that stadium, that everyone's jumping and Metallica's bumping, it's phenomenal. In my opinion, it is absolutely one of the best entrances in college football.
Yeah, and honestly, like I'm sitting here thinking, proof if somebody did a good job, whoever built that stadium to withstand
the structure.
I mean, honestly, like there's videos. You can look at the videos of the concrete shifting when they bounce up and down. But it's still standing, and they've got no problem doing it, especially on a night game when Virginia Tech plays at night. Honestly, it is. It's the British mind can't comprehend.
I love that. I love it.
They can't comprehend what goes on here in college football and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong. British soccer fans have some awesome chants.
Oh, they do.
And like I've been in London when like Chelsea won the whatever cup, and
it's a big deal.
It's a huge deal. But the British mind cannot comprehend Virginia Tech at night. They just can't. They can't comprehend like the Rocky Top going off at when a Tennessee touchdown go. Like they can't comprehend it.
Listen, there's certain times where the British need to grab a biscuit and a tea and have a seat and just observe.
Yeah,
and when it comes to college football, that's one of them. Hey, you've been listening to The Drive. We're getting off the rails a little bit, so we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk some more national stories. We're going to talk Atlanta Braves baseball and a whole lot of other stuff as we continue to get some updates from around the community. We'll be right back here on ESPN Cleveland 101.3.
The Drive will be back after a quick timeout. Stay tuned for more nonstop sports talk on The Drive, presented by Hardees.
Hardee's Original Bag packs 2 full-size favorites, plus fries and a drink starting at $5.99. Pair any 2 items. Choose from a charbroiled double cheeseburger, hot ham and cheese, or hand-breaded chicken tender wrap. Or choose 2 double cheeseburgers for just $1 more. A great big bag of original goodness starting at just $5.99. Only at Hardee's. Download the Hardee's app and join My Rewards for special offers. These items only. Tax not included. Price and participation may vary.
Got an injury that just can't wait? There's no need to delay your care. Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics is excited to announce that our Urgent Ortho Walk-In Clinic is now available on Saturdays at the Gun Barrel Road location. Open from 8 to noon, we're here to treat sprains, strains, fractures, and more. No appointment needed. So skip the long ER wait and get specialized orthopedic care fast. Visit us this Saturday at Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics Urgent Ortho. We're the center for expert care right when you need it. Learn more at sportmed.com.
ESPN Cleveland 101.3 is powered by Duracell.
Did you know Honda builds 70% of their U.S. sold Hondas right here in America? 70%. Honda has 12 manufacturing facilities in the U.S. So don't let the tariff talk spook you. While KBB.com names Honda best value brand in America, 70% of Hondas are built right here in the good old USA. Honda Cleveland is a local family-owned business and the Chattanooga region's only President's Award winner 4 years in a row, not to mention a Carfax top-rated lifetime dealer, too. If you need service, parts, tires, Honda Cleveland can help. Get the work completed and pay over time with up to 3 months interest-free, with no hard credit check and a 90% approval rate. Right now, Honda Cleveland has 1.99% on Ridgeline pickup and 0% on the all-electric Honda Prologue SUV. With 5 assembly plants in full swing, Honda is one of the most American brands you can buy. Come take a spin. Honda Cleveland, your car, your way, every day. I-75 exit 20, 1 mile east. Hope to see you soon.
Do you suffer from unsightly leg veins? Are your legs turning brown or swelling? Do your legs feel heavy, tired, or achy? Do you have restless legs or leg cramps disturbing your sleep? These symptoms are signs of bad veins. Dr. James Gooden at Milligan Vein offers an office treatment that can make you look and feel better, and your procedure is covered by most insurance. Find more information online at milliganvein.com or call Dr. Gooden today at 423-961-5682 and get rid of those bad veins.
It's Thursday, so Singo is at Aubrey's at 7 o'clock, and you can get prime rib after 4. Aubrey's Cleveland.
Welcome back to The Drive, presented by Hardees. Join the conversation. Text 423-749-1013. You can also listen anywhere on our website, ESPNCleveland1013.com.
Welcome back to The Drive. Hey, friends, Duracell in Cleveland is now hiring mechanical skilled technicians, $22.17 to $27 per hour. Excellent benefits beginning day one. Medical, dental, vision insurance, paid vacation, holiday pay, 401k, tuition reimbursement, and more. Apply at Duracell.com. That's Duracell.com. Andy, you want to know something else that's got me charged up?
What's that?
You know, second day is when you find the best value in things, especially in the draft. They drafted a Pope.
They sure did.
They've got a Pope. It's here, and
it's from Chicago, the first American-born.
First American-born. America. First off, British mind couldn't comprehend. We now got a Pope. On top of that, something that interesting.
We got the Pope.
We got it. The Pope. Chicago, right?
That's it. Listen, we got to get some memes started, man.
But the problem is Chicago got a Pope before Chicago got a 4,000-yard passer.
That's a shot at Chi-Town right there, man.
That is. But hey, you know the Pope loves everybody except Green Bay, so it's gonna work out, you know. But it's exciting. It's been an exciting day. I've enjoyed watching the coverage of it. But you know, America, hey, we're here, baby. We are here. We now got a Pope.
I mean, that really is a big deal. I know. A lot of Catholic families in the United States are rejoicing over that. Very excited to have, which he's going to go by Pope Leo. I forget. I think the 14th is what it is. Pope Leo the 14th. So that is really and truly such a great honor for an American-born Pope to now be the sitting Pope.
Yeah, I mean, it really is cool. Especially with it being the first time in history. All jokes aside, you know, ragging on the Bears and stuff like that. But, you know, it's
using religion to rag on the Bears. Who would have thought?
I mean, you could find anything to rag on the Chicago Bears. But we'll see. We'll see. You know, they got a new coach up there, and maybe he can get them right.
Listen, so as you were talking, I'm kind of looking to see some info about which his name is Robert Francis Prevost, and he is now going to be going by Pope Louis the 14th. Pope Leo the 14th.
Graduated from Villanova.
So also, it looks like on top of Villanova, he spent some time at Columbia University as well, looks like. If what I'm reading here is correct. But, yeah, that's pretty cool. You know, Villanova, they can say the Pope is our guy.
Yeah.
He's a Villanova fan.
We're blessed.
Can you imagine how that's going to factor into the sports world?
Yeah.
With Villanova basketball?
Yeah.
Man. I mean, that's a team who's been in the national spotlight.
Do you think we're going to be able to get him out of Italy to America for a sporting event?
I'm sure he will make an appearance back into the United States on a few different occasions. But this is something that's insane that I'm reading about this guy right now. This guy, I just called the Pope this guy. So he speaks not only English but Spanish, Italian, French, and Portuguese. And on top of that, he can read Latin and German.
Wow.
Is that not absolute just brilliance right there? I think they made a good choice.
Yeah.
Very intelligent man, and you know, clearly he's from the red, white, and blue. He's one of our guys. He's from our team.
I can't even read a Duracell ad without.
You did all right, even though Riley laughed at you. You did okay. But yeah, that was big news today, and you know, I'm sure, obviously, you know, I'm not a practicing Catholic, but come from some family that were Catholics for many generations, and the Catholic families in the United States have got to be extremely proud. I can imagine the rejoicement, as I've seen on social media already today. And you think about Catholic universities throughout the United States, Notre Dame, Boston College, among many others. That's Belmont Abbey in North Carolina. That's a big deal. That's huge for them. So excited for that. Hey, getting back a little bit more into sports, we talked about Brew McCoy's career coming to an end as he chooses to medically retire from the game of football. That happened earlier this week. And hey, some baseball news before we dive into our Atlanta Braves. Did you hear about Dansby Swanson?
I did not.
He's about to be a daddy.
Oh, congrats.
Yes. So Dansby and his wife, Mallory Swanson, who's a member of the U.S. women's national soccer team. And listen, she's the real deal, too. She is a very talented soccer player. But they announced that they're expecting their first child. So, kind of crossing two worlds together there between soccer and Major League Baseball. And some more Major League Baseball news. The Yankees are 7-0 this season. Do you know when they're 7-0, Jacob?
When?
When Max Fried is on the mound. He's got a 1.01 ERA, which is the lowest in the American League. Does that just not make you feel bad as a Brave? Listen, I'm happy for him. Continued success for him, absolutely. I wish that for him. But how much does that sting knowing that guy could still be in our rotation?
Yeah, I'll be honest. With all the offseason stuff that happened, to me, that was the one that, hurt the most. I will say I was happy he's not a Dodger, but,
I won't disagree with that.
I was more so worried about, having to see him multiple times.
I said that all last season, too. I would tell my wife, she was a huge Max Fried fan, her absolute favorite Braves player. And every time he'd pitch last year, I'd say, yeah, too bad we're going to see him in a Dodger uniform last year. I thought I knew what I was talking about. But being a Yankee is not a whole lot better, but at least he's in the American League.
Yeah. So, but that, to me, that was the most disappointing, non-resign or, move that we didn't make, I guess you could say. To me, he was... Pitching is always worth it to me, and when you've got a guy like that could be in your rotation, I'm always going to say, yeah, just spend the money, you got it. But hey, AA knows more than I do. I just get paid to talk about it.
That's right. And listen, that's one thing where I do think, especially in terms of the Atlanta Braves, which again, very, very happy that Mayfield Dairy is our sponsor for Atlanta Braves baseball here on The Drive on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. And trust me, I'm going to talk about some ice cream here in a little bit. It wouldn't be a Drive show without me doing that. But you talk about what's about to happen for the Atlanta Braves, and what I mean by that is in the very near future, we're going to be getting some additions to this team. And it doesn't matter if Alex Anthopoulos is going out and making moves or not. The additions that are about to take place, Spencer Strider threw his first bullpen session yesterday. So this is some progression that he threw his first bullpen session yesterday. Very, very big news. And then on top of that, it seems like that the hamstring is feeling well. The Braves are waiting to see how he responds before updating his timetable for return. But the good thing is, if you're throwing a bullpen session, you're throwing.
Yeah.
When you get in there, he's past the long toss and the soft toss and all that stuff, and he is in the bullpen throwing pitches. That's a huge sign. So you can expect him back sooner than later. Also, another addition that we've talked about, Ronald Acuna Jr., obviously still going through rehab down in Florida. He's set to be cleared for a rehab assignment in the very near future. We've reported that over the past couple of days. And Ronald Acuna Jr. is a guy that in years past, obviously not the first time he's dealt with injury, but he's bounced back quick. The Braves have said, listen, we want to be slow. We want to be careful. Listen, this guy is the type of player that when he's ready, he's going to let you know he's ready.
Yeah, for sure. And, I think he was a little sluggish coming back from his initial, at the first time he injured.
Because he came back too soon.
Yeah, and so the Braves are, they dropped one last night, but in my opinion, they're doing everything they need to do to stay in that conversation. Do not rush it. Let's get a full, healthy Acuna back. When Strider's back on the mound, don't rush it. To me, that's the worst thing is when you rush an injury. But I'm pretty sure that's what Spencer Strider said. I'm not rehabbing. I need to look that quote up. I'm gonna look it up here in a minute. But he's like, I'm not rehabbing to come back. Come back partially. I'm coming to go all the way.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's something of that magnitude. But I'm the same with Acuna. I need him healthy, and let's make a postseason run.
Hey, down on the farm. And I believe you've got some breaking news.
Yeah.
I'll let you go ahead and get that before I get down to the farm system.
So the Pirates have relieved Derek Shelton of his duties as manager.
Wow.
And the bench coach, Don Kelly, has been named the manager. So that happened today about 4 hours ago. So some shakeups already. The Pirates, I think, are they realize they've got a youth movement kind of going on, especially with one of the best pitchers in baseball.
Well, they've struggled out of the gate.
Yeah, and they're struggling, and I think they're trying to make adjustments to, be competitive.
Yeah, right now the Pittsburgh Pirates sitting last in the NL Central.
Yeah.
Only 12-26 on the season.
Hey, they got 6 more wins than
Colorado.
Colorado.
But listen, their guy Paul Skeens, who social media star, big time on social media. He's got the pretty girlfriend. Olivia. What is it?
Dune.
Olivia. Jacob knows who she is. But listen, so big social media presence. But the guy has not pitched like he pitched last year. As a rookie, he was phenomenal. He struggled this year.
Yeah, he's
in that sophomore slump.
Yeah, because. Last year we were sitting here talking about could he be the first guy to win a Cy Young in his rookie season?
Yeah. People were throwing his name out for the MVP at one point.
Yeah, he was filthy, but just hasn't been quite the same. But we see that, a lot of times hitters need about a year to see somebody's stuff, and then they start catching up.
That's it. You're exactly right, and I do think that the stuff is legit. It's real.
He's got 9 pitches that all go in different locations.
It's good.
I couldn't imagine trying to be in the box facing that.
Yeah, but just like you said, these major league hitters, they adjust well, especially the good ones. So once you've seen someone for a season, especially within your division, and you've had an offseason kind of to look at all your at-bats against them, you know what you got to fix.
Well, and
they can catch up to 100.
Have you seen the new technology that they've rolled out in these clubhouses that have a hole where the pitcher's hand goes and it shifts if a guy has a different arm slot?
Unbelievable.
And so it goes through the motion, and then you can upload what pitches he has with it's unreal. It's like a $30,000 machine, but if you know that he's going to be one of the toughest pitchers you face during the offseason, you can get in there and put the work in and see.
Just take as many pitches off that thing as you can to prepare yourself. Yeah, it really is unbelievable with the technology that hitters and pitchers alike have in Major League Baseball now. But also, as you said, that stuff is not cheap.
No.
But it's amazing. I'd love to be one of the developers of that.
Oh, yeah.
Probably sitting pretty right now. But, hey, down on the farm, going back, talking about the Atlanta Braves, once again sponsored by Mayfield Dairy, all of our Braves coverage here on The Drive here on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. Jared Kelenic, a guy who obviously Braves had a lot of high hopes for and was sent down a little bit earlier this month, was a single away from hitting for the cycle for the Gwinnett Stripers last night in their game out there in Durham, North Carolina against the Durham Bulls. So Jared Kelenic taking care of business, seeing the baseball, hitting the baseball well down in Gwinnett. And I would assume that we're going to see Jared Kelenic back in a Braves Major League jersey sooner than later. Hopefully it's not for injury reasons, but definitely good to hear that Jared Kelenic is doing well down on the farm. Also down on the farm, Craig Kimbrell. This is one I'm really excited about. In 8 games between AA and AAA, Craig Kimbrell has pitched 8.2 innings. He's got a 2.08 ERA, has only allowed 3 hits, 2 earned runs, and has 10 strikeouts. And guess what, Jacob? This is what really pumps me up. Craig Kimbrell's been in the league for a while. He's been playing some baseball for a good while. I believe his rookie season was 2010, maybe 2011. His fastball was clocked at 95 miles an hour in his last appearance. He was hitting 93, 94, 95 consistently. So you know what that tells me?
What does it tell you?
It's Kimbrell time. Bring the guy, put him in a bullpen. Excited for it. And I would love to see the Braves kind of utilize the aesthetics as far as, hey, right as we're approaching that All-Star break, to get the energy in Atlanta and kind of, get us fired up for the second half, get us fired up to host that All-Star game. Let's bring Craig Kimbrell back right before the All-Star break, just to add a little spark to get us fired up.
Yeah, since you're talking about manager positions, I do have a question. But are we going to recap the game from last night?
Absolutely.
First?
When we come back from our next break, we're going to.
I'll hold off on that question then, because it has to do with last night's game. So, but I do have an interesting question that I'd like to get your opinion on.
Okay, so hey, with that, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break because Jacob says so. And when Jacob says something here on the drive,
it happens.
That's it, baby. You're listening to ESPN Cleveland 101.3. We'll be back in just a minute.
The Drive will be back after a quick timeout. Stay tuned for more nonstop sports talk on The Drive, presented by Hardees.
You can't run, you can't hide, but you can drive. Drive away from your credit challenges today at Kia Cleveland on South Lee Highway. This is John Davis at Kia Cleveland announcing our credit forgiveness event. Our lenders will forgive your credit sins and your misdeeds and say yes to you and yes to financing your dream car. Plus, we'll take any trade in any condition and give you $7,000 over Kelley Blue Book fair value toward the purchase of any new Kia Sorento EX in our huge inventory. That's right, $7,000 more than your trade is worth. Don't forget it. I'll beat any deal from anywhere in Georgia, Tennessee, or Alabama. Drive away from your credit challenges today and come see me, John Davis, during our credit forgiveness event at Kia Cleveland on South Lee Highway in beautiful Cleveland, Tennessee, where getting approved is as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Looking for the dealer who's gonna give you more. Kia of Cleveland Superstore.
Subject to lender approval. Offers don't combine. Expires month end.
KiaofCleveland.com.
Hardees is hiring. Join the STAR team. Flexible scheduling, daily pay, free meals, 20% family discount, plus paid vacation for part-time and full-time employees. Apply in-store or online at Hardees.com today.
Do your legs feel heavy, tired, or achy? Dr. James Gooden at Milligan Vein offers an office treatment that can make you look and feel better, and your procedure is covered by most insurance. Visit MilliganVein.com or call Dr. Gooden today at 423-961-5682.
Hey guys, this is Dan Good from Crown. Just reminding you that Crown Jeep is Cleveland and Bradley County's Jeep headquarters.
Cleveland Tire Center, locally owned and operated for over 45 years. Cleveland Tire, your one-stop auto care shop in Cleveland. North Lee Highway, where the name says it all.
Need a primary care provider or maybe a specialist? Erlanger Medical Group gives you access to the region's largest group of providers. For an appointment, call 423-778-DOCS. That's 778-DOCS.
Welcome back to The Drive, presented by Hardees. Join the conversation. Text 423-749-1013. You can also listen anywhere on our website, ESPNCleveland1013.com.
Welcome back to The Drive. Hey, talking Atlanta Braves baseball, so we've got to mention that you need to turn your freezer into your own personal ice cream shop with Mayfield Dairy's latest products, the Sunday Delights Ice Cream Cups. Jacob, that sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Once again, the Sunday Delights Ice Cream Cups, now available in 5 flavors: peanut butter candy pieces, cookies and cream, original chocolate fudge, original caramel, and original fudge. Once again, MayfieldDairy.com. Visit them online, MayfieldDairy.com. I'm a big fudge guy. I love some fudge and some caramel. You say caramel or caramel? Jim was giving me a hard time the other day.
I say caramel.
Yeah, I'm a caramel guy.
Yeah, well,
you got to enunciate.
You're wrong. But it's fine.
So listen, this is another one. Pecan or pecan?
Ooh, I've caught myself saying both. I mean,
really?
Yeah, but
I'm not a pecan guy. I'm a pecan guy.
It's pecan, but like when people say it, like it's one of those that I don't mind just saying back to them, if that makes sense. Like I'm not gonna dig my heels in the sand over pecan or pecan.
Yeah, Slim Money Mason's a follower, is what that means.
I guess with pecans,
Hey, is it Arkansas or Arkansas?
I mean, the English language is something that needs to be studied for a really long time. I guess that's why we have it all through
Hey, don't be pumping up the red, white, and blue and then bringing it down now. Come on now.
K-12, it's Arkansas, but I could understand why anybody else in the world would think Arkansas when you've got Kansas right over there next to it.
Yeah, no, you're right. Did you hear that? I said you're right.
That
don't happen a lot, does it?
I'm shocked.
Enjoy it. Let it marinate for a second.
It shocked me quite a bit.
Hey, once again, Braves coverage on The Drive is brought to you by Mayfield Dairy. And unfortunately last night the Braves lost to the Cincinnati Reds 4-3, and the Braves have had little offensive production over the last 7 games. Fortunately for them, they've had some things go their way throughout that 7-game span. But last night, really not a whole lot different offensively. The first run of the game came off of Drake Baldwin home run. That's his 3rd home run of the season, but that wasn't until the 5th inning. But silver lining in that 4-3 loss to the Reds was the Atlanta Braves bullpen. Aaron Bummer, Dylan Lee, and Iniel De Los Santos went 3 and 1/3 solid innings for the Atlanta Braves in relief. Dylan Lee also had a big-time pickoff of Espinal, the Reds' runner at first base, and I believe that was in like the 7th or the 8th inning. Great pickoff move from Dylan Lee, just caught him leaning. And but again, the early offense for Cincinnati against Grant Holmes was the story of the night. Reds just played better early, getting some runs in the 1st inning and the 3rd inning, and then just not a lot of production from Atlanta until late. But you cannot always rely on those late comebacks to win ball games.
Yeah. The head scratcher for me is the Rosario pinch hit with Eli White. I went back and I listened. Snicker thought that he could recreate some magic, whatever. One, I don't make that move with White to begin with. 2,
White's been playing good baseball.
Not only has he been playing that's so true, but if you're looking for a home run, Sean Murphy's on the bench.
Yeah.
That's the part that I don't get. Like, you're sitting there between the 3. Sean Murphy's the one that I trust the most out of all 3 of them. Then White.
Not the time to be trying to get Rosario work.
No. And so, it was a real head scratcher for me.
Snit does that every once in a while. He has some things that he does, and I'm sure he has his reasons. But it kind of leaves us fans and us that are kind of watching and critiquing, leaves us scratching our heads at times.
To me, it feels like it's a gut feeling for him. And
Rosario, to be fair, in 2 at-bats against him, he had a home run.
Yeah.
Very, very small sample size to go off of, though.
Yeah, and
that was last year when Rosario was with the Washington Nationals.
Yeah, I'm still, I don't know. That was the head scratcher. I out of all 3 of them, you've got Sean Murphy sitting there on the bench. Like, that's who I'm. If I'm going to pinch hit,
he's anybody, a gamer, man.
That's who I'm pinch hitting.
He's a gamer, and again though, he could have been looking matchups. He could have been looking matchups there. So, yeah, it's one of those things you kind of question. At least leave Eli White in there, and but I get bringing Rosario in is. Maybe looking for a spark. I get that angle. I'm just not sold on it. Yeah. I do agree with you on that there. But one thing that I really thought was going to kind of get things going was Red starting pitcher Hunter Green, who, first of all, very talented pitcher. I've kept up with his career since he was drafted by the Reds. Unfortunately for him, he left the game with a groin injury after 3 solid innings. And I really thought that was going to be where, hey, okay, we're to the bullpen now, and the Braves offense was going to kind of step up and get going. Drake Baldwin gave it a run in the 5th, but outside of that, just not a lot happening for the Braves offensively. But when you talk about offense for the Cincinnati Reds last night, T.J. Friedel had a 2-home run game, 3 RBIs. That's a big game, and ultimately, obviously, winning the game 4-3, that was a difference. And Grant Holmes just not able to get settled in, giving up both of those home runs. And we've seen some glimpse of greatness from Grant Holmes, but everyone's due every once in a while to have a bad outing, a bad start. We just don't want to see him back to back. We've seen him progress so much. Next start, we don't want to see that. So fortunately for the Atlanta Braves and us Braves fans, you get to play baseball the next day, which is tonight. So the Braves, who are 12-6 over their last 18, are looking to win the series against Ellie De La Cruz and the Cincinnati Reds in the final game of the series tonight. First pitch, 7:15. That's Spencer Schwellenbach on the mound for the Bravos, who is currently 1-3 with a 3.92 ERA, and he is facing Nick Lodolo, who's 3-3 with a 3.27 ERA. And that game at 7:15 once again will be right here on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. You'll be able to catch the pre and post game shows right here on ESPN Cleveland 101.3, and it's also going to be broadcast on Mix 104.1, presented by Mountain View Nissan of Cleveland. So definitely looking forward to Atlanta being able to take the series. That sweep, though, since Minnesota seems like it's been elusive from Atlanta, just not able to close out some series. Obviously struggled in that series with the Dodgers dropping 2 of 3. But winning this game tonight, you look at it being a 4-game series, and you feel pretty good taking 3 of 4.
Yeah, I agree. And, again, to me right now, the plan for the Braves should just be stay on track. Keep on finding a way to win some games, and then when you get some of your key pieces back, go to work.
You know what another good thing is? You mentioned Pittsburgh firing their manager. Guess the next series who the Braves are playing. They're traveling to Pittsburgh for a 3-game set with a team that just fired their manager and obviously has some internal turmoil taking place at the moment. So might be able to go up there and watch. Was it Matt Olson who hit one into the Allegheny last year?
I think so.
Just an absolute bomb into the river there. So maybe we can get Matt Olson going, getting the long ball going for him, and get a series sweep up there in Pittsburgh. That'd be really nice.
Yeah, that would. And again, I'm pleased after the start that the Braves had where we're at. You know, as long as we can keep taking care of business, then you're not going to hear the critical side of me. I just hope at the All-Star break we do make some moves that give us a better chance to beat.
Maybe not right at.
No, I mean
once you come back.
Yeah. I'm saying, like, I just hope we don't sit on our hands like we did all offseason.
Yeah, if you're in striking distance, there's some pieces that we could address. There's no doubt about it. We didn't spend a ton of money this offseason.
No.
Didn't bring back Max Fried, which is something that a lot of Braves fans wanted to happen. We've already talked about it today. Didn't really address shortstop outside of internally, which, hey, I'm pleased with Nick Allen's performance so far this season.
Yeah.
I like him better than Orlando Arcia.
Yeah.
The youth movement in Atlanta has been solid between Eli White, Nick Allen, Drake Baldwin. Those 3 alone have had such key moments early this season that sometimes it's good to work within and make moves from within and get guys back from injury. I think Alex Anthopoulos will do kind of like he normally does, and it's going to be a little delayed. It's going to be closer to the deadline. He's going to see what those additions from returning from injury are going to do for the organization, what those young guys may continue or not continue to do. So it'll be interesting, but I do hope, as you said, I hope that if there's a direct need, if someone goes down with an injury that's kind of like knocks the air out of you, is like a punch to the gut, let's go get somebody.
Yeah.
Let's let this clubhouse know, hey, we're trying to win this thing again.
Yeah, and, you know, when they won the World Series, I started thinking to myself, how many World Series do I think the Braves win in the next 10 years, right? That was one of the main conversations that I started thinking about. But now that, like, teams like the Dodgers and the Yankees and the Mets and all these people are starting to throw some money around, that number in my head shrunk a little bit.
Mets and Phillies have, over the past 3-4 years, have absolutely been spending money, and that's 2 teams within your division.
Yeah, and so that number has shrunk in my head. And so I don't want to sit back and think on life and be like, man, we had Acuna, man, we had Albies on all these club-friendly deals. We had Riley. And when we were in striking distance, or when we had a chance to go out and retain some of these guys that we had as rookies and, you know, could have made a run, we didn't. Like that's really my biggest fear as a Braves fan, is like, you know, I got to experience the Braves and the Dogs winning a championship in the same year. That was awesome. But I just hope that that's not like something that I think back on and I'm like, man, we should have just paid a little bit of money and signed.
No, I agree. And once again, the Braves are currently 17-19, just cannot get to 500. It looked like they were going to be the quickest team in the history of the game to go from starting 0-7 to getting to 500. That's been delayed a little bit more. We can get one game closer tonight. Again, Braves taking on the Reds in Game 4, the final game of the 4-game set, and that's going to be at 7:15, first pitch, and pre- and post-game shows here on ESPN Cleveland 101.3, and also coverage on Mix 104.1 presented by Mountain View Nissan of Cleveland. And you look at the standings, Jacob, the Braves currently in third place in the National League East, only 6 games back of the New York Mets, who have had some guys come back from injury that look like a solid team. But again, they have not faced the toughest part of their schedule. And when you look at the Braves schedule, you're kind of getting into a stretch here where, you know, we finish tonight. Tomorrow we start a short 3-game road trip to Pittsburgh. And I need to look and see how our pitching lines up, but I would really like to see us for sure take the series, but get a sweep there. Very, very doable against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Then you're immediately coming back home next Monday, starting a 4-game series with the Washington Nationals, who you could absolutely wallop. So you're looking there to get over 500 between those 2 series.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, those are definitely some winnable games, and I think could build some good momentum as well. You know, I think that's kind of what the Braves need a sweep. If we're just being honest, they need the confidence of a sweep. So hopefully, you know, that can happen in Pittsburgh. If not, maybe we can go get one in the next series.
Yeah, hey, listen, we got to remind our listeners that the Mother Like No Other giveaway is still taking place until tomorrow. Today is the 8th. Tomorrow is the 9th. It ends on the 9th. So the Mother Like No Other giveaway, you'll be able to get your mommy Perry's Petals, a dozen roses, Old Fort Restaurant, dinner for 4. Jacob cringed when I said mommy, by the way. Baskin Robbins, a Polar Pizza, and you can sign your mom up right on our website, ESPNCleveland1013.com, and we will be announcing a winner tomorrow morning on Mixed Mornings with Stephen Bridget at 7:30 a.m. So, Mother Like No Other giveaway. All you got to do, get on ESPNCleveland1013.com to enter. So, pretty cool giveaway. We appreciate Perry's Petals, obviously Baskin Robbins, and Old Fort Restaurant.
Yeah, for sure. That'd be great. Unfortunately, Mom, you're not eligible. You know, working for the radio station. Can't win, but I'll take you to dinner. That'd be fun. But, hey, while we got a few minutes, I do have a question. You have anything else, like, pressing you want to cover before I dive in?
Listen, we've busted out our high school schedules. If you're just now tuning in, high school baseball, high school softball, high school soccer going on this weekend, you can go back on our Facebook page, restream the show. We talked about high school sports early in the show, and we've got complete coverage of when those games are going to be taking place. So all you got to do is just drag that time bar back in our show, and you can listen to everything we covered with high school sports. So what do you got for me, Jacob?
So One Sports, you know, it's one of the websites I've won. It's the
is it On 3?
On 3,
yeah.
The On 3 Sports released an article that I thought was really interesting. Nick Saban expected to be co-chair of President Trump's Commission on College Sports. That dropped about 20 hours ago.
That's pretty neat.
He's expected to be the co-chair of the Commission on College Sports. Saban would be the co-chair focused on things like the NIL stuff. Trump is also considering an executive order which would create more security around NIL, according to the Wall Street Journal. The news came down after the president and Saban met ahead of last week's commencement address at Alabama. So,
wow.
You know, I've been on the show kind of knocking on the table saying, like, we need some structure.
We need Nick Saban to be a commissioner is what
that's
a lot of people
that's what I was asking
have been saying, yeah.
You know, like a guy that has coached in the old era, a guy that tried to coach in the new era, and a lot of these older coaches are wanting to get out of. I love it.
Yeah, and I do too. The question is, how much authority will he actually have if that happens over college football? Unless, you know, I would assume the NCAA would comply to an extent and embrace the help. Because ultimately, something coming from Nick Saban, he's in tight with the people at the NCAA. They love Nick Saban. So I would imagine that it would probably be embraced by the NCAA, because part of the reason they've let all this go is because it's too much work.
Yeah,
it's too much to keep up with the transfer stuff, and people are filing lawsuits. So the NCAA got to a point where they said, listen, you want to pay your players? Fine, go ahead. They threw their hands up with it. They said, we don't want to keep up with it anymore. We don't want to worry about sanctioning teams because they've got people bringing McDonald's paper bags, shout out Mark Smith, of money. Not saying Mark did that. I'm just saying hey to my friend Mark Smith. But paper bags full of money, handing it off. And listen, we're a Hardees show. Might have been a Hardees bag. I don't know. But players getting paid that way, at least now it's somewhat on the up and up, and it's documented, and we know who's getting what and what's happening. But it can't continue to be a wild, wild west.
Yeah.
And the same thing with the portal. People were suing. Well, listen, I spent time at a junior college, and then the NCAA said, you want to transfer whenever you want? Fine, go ahead. We're tired of dealing with it.
Well,
so what this would do, President Trump putting Nick Saban in this position would make it easy on the NCAA to say, hey, yeah, sure, we'd love the help.
Yeah, and you talked about being sued. Arkansas is currently suing Nico's brother over
Madden,
over the time that he was spent there, and that's something I feel like they can win. He committed to going. He signed. He said he would do these things. They paid him before he even took a real snap of football. So it'd be you're gonna have to look at the contracts and look at how they read, but that's gonna open up a whole new.
You know what I expect in that case? I expect a settlement.
Yeah.
The Iamaleava family is going to say, listen, we took this amount of money, and they're going to say, here's X amount back.
Yeah.
Sorry we left. Let's settle so this doesn't get drug out.
But it says the Commissioner on College Sports is expected to deeply examine the landscape of college sports, including the frequency of player movement and transfer portal, the unregulated booster compensation pay to athletes, the debate on college athletes' employment, the application of Title IX to school revenue.
It's a lot.
To me, if they're create a group of people to look at all this, and because there's a problem. I mean, it's a problem. But it is something that could be fixed. You're right. The fact is, the NCAA just doesn't want to deal with it. Once all those judgments came out from the courts,
tired of getting sued themselves.
And really, that's step one of the NCAA really not being a thing in the near future. You're in my opinion,
it's the worst thing we could do. It would be like abolishing the TSSAA, which we'll get into on another day.
Yeah, you're going to look at these conferences being able to find their teams and which they already do. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying control the narrative of how things go. And so to me there needs to be some kind of governing body, not just like the SEC takes care of the SEC, because then again you're playing on a different set of rules everywhere you
know
go.
what I think? I think this is an excellent topic for us to cover when you join us back next week.
Let's do it.
We're going to dive into it. We'll try to get some callers with the inside information. Listen, I don't know if you guys know this or not. Jacob knows people. We'll get someone calling in that knows what they're doing, knows what they're talking about on all this.
I'll start getting into the phone book. We'll see.
Hey, listen, great show today. We appreciate you guys tuning in via our live stream or right here on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. For Jacob Mason, I'm Andy Morris. Look forward to you guys joining us again tomorrow, 5 p.m. right here on ESPN Cleveland. Now coming up, the Braves pregame show.
And don't forget, America, we got the Pope.
It's time for a Don Ledford of Cleveland traffic update on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. Don Ledford Chevrolet Buick GMC, located on North Lee Highway in Cleveland. Or visit donledford.com for details. Don Ledford, where we say yes. It's on-time traffic with Commander Chuck.
Good afternoon. Traffic's on the increase right where you would expect this time of the afternoon up through Hickson on 153, especially around Gadd Road. We've had a few wrecks in the Hickson area this afternoon. It's busy now, 24 east and west up through the Ridge Cut. It remains stop and go over here at Shallowford right at the interstate. Hey, Rick's Lock and Key, Chattanooga's leading locksmith since 1973. If you need their help 24 hours a day, call Rick's Lock and Key 892-1700. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
From the Alon Planning Partners Weather Center, here's your forecast on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. Visit them online at alonplanning.com or give them a call at 423-315-1441.
We are in storm alert weather mode this afternoon and heading into this evening. Storms will begin to fire up later this afternoon around 4 to 5 p.m. Could possibly see some strong to severe storms with 65-plus mile-per-hour winds, as well as hail 2 inches or greater in diameter. Now, the tornado threat is low but not zero, so we can't completely rule out an isolated spin-up. Make sure to download the Local 3 weather app for the latest updates. With the Local 3 Storm Alert Weather Team, I'm weather forecaster Hannah Sky.
Your current Milligan Vane temperature is 77 degrees.
some mornings call for a little extra comfort. Introducing Hardees' new home-style breakfast burritos with cheese, fluffy egg, crispy hash browns, breakfast sausage, bacon, and sliced ham in a warm tortilla served with a side of Texas Pete hot sauce. Home-style breakfast burritos, only at Hardees. Goodness in the making. My Rewards members get a free blueberry biscuit or sausage biscuit when you order on the app. Limited time only. Exclusions may apply by time of day. See app for terms.
Come to Don Ledford GMC and save the whole month of May.